Why are there so many shows starring Muppets and dozens of movies too? They said they'd watch everyone and they mean it. It's something that they've got to do. So now they've pledged you a lifelong commitment. The Muppets, Matthew and Sam.
Welcome to Commitment, the podcast where two friends have vowed to watch all things Muppets. I'm Matthew Gatos.
And I'm award-winning podcast editor, Sam Schultz.
And this week we are discussing 3 more episodes of Season 2 of Muppet Babies from October of 1985. And those are the episodes titled The Great Cookie Robbery, Out of This World History, and Snow White and the 7 Muppets. Usually we give Muppet Babies a little bit of grief for their titles, but I will say this week's pretty appropriate.
Dead on. They nailed it.
But before we get into those episodes, as Sam alluded to in his intro there, he is now an award-winning podcast editor. As we were recording this, last night was the Muppet Twitter Awards, and, you know, we won a few of those.
Yes, we did.
Well, we were nominated for 7, and we won 4. So first...
That's like a, what is that, a C minus?
Well, don't think about it that way.
Okay.
It sounds way more impressive if you just say the awards we won instead of...
we're getting an A.
But yeah, we were nominated for and didn't win for Best Professional Guests, which we lost because Frank Oz was on to introduce our guest star. So, you know,
Yeah, that's fair.
Frank Oz is stiff competition. And then we also lost the Best Muppet Fan Twitter account and the Funniest Muppet Fan Twitter account, which I will try not to take personally as the person who runs our Twitter account.
Yeah, you know, it's a hard night for Matt.
But, you know, it was all right because we did win Best Audio Editing in a Muppet Fan Podcast, which is all thanks to Sam here.
You want to know a secret?
Huh.
I haven't edited a single second. I don't edit this podcast.
This is effortless, everyone. We don't need editing at all.
We're just really good at talking for 2 hours straight without any mistakes, without stopping and pausing awkwardly for long amounts of time.
Not having to pause and Google things so it sounds smart when we say it like we knew it off the top of our heads.
We're just really smart.
Yeah. But we also won the award for Best Fan Guest on a Muppet Fan Podcast. I guess technically Lindsay Kelk, won that award, but she was on our podcast.
We'll try to let her know.
I let her know. She knows. She's aware.
Okay.
I think she said it was her greatest achievement. So...
Radical.
As a person who has written many, many books and I believe has received awards for those books, nice to be in the running with the greatest achievement was her appearance on this podcast. But we also won Best Hosts of a Muppet-themed Podcasts. And we won the big one, folks. Best Muppet Fan Podcast.
It's really nice.
Back to back, 2 years in a row, Sam.
They like us. They really like us.
We are the 1992 Chicago Bulls. Me and you, the Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen of Muppet Fan Podcasts.
And they're still going strong to this day, right? The awards kept coming. Yeah, right?
Well, to be fair, the Bulls had a 3-peat, so maybe next year.
Okay. We need a 4-peat. Then we can send Michael Jordan a letter that says, "In your face, loser."
Yeah, he'll react positively to that, I'm sure.
He can come be on the show.
Yeah, and beat us.
He would inexplicably talk about Space Jam, I think, probably. Those are Muppets, right?
The only way we would have Michael Jordan on the podcast, I think, is if we required him to talk about Space Jam.
That's true. I guess you're right.
That's the closest thing to a Muppet thing that I could think of that Michael Jordan has done. Although, as I'm saying that out loud, I am going to search Michael Jordan Muppet Wiki because he's probably been on Sesame Street.
Or he'd be on stage at an award show with a Muppet, or he'd be in a poster with Kermit that says "Read" on it in really big letters.
I was thinking that too, but I don't think that he was. And according to Muppet Wiki, it seems like he has never officially interacted with the Muppets.
I bet Kermit's done the what's it called? The Fly Guy. What's this thing called? Jumpman.
Beaker has.
He's on Jumpman.
Yeah, there's a Air Beaker photo shoot from something, and then in the newer Muppet Babies, it looks like they referenced that at one point. Baby Gonzo is wearing basketball shoes, and there's an Air Beaker logo on them.
That's fun. That's
very
fun.
good. But Michael Jordan aside, thank you to everyone who voted for us, who nominated for us, who's listening to this right now. Obviously, we couldn't have won the awards without you.
I only voted once.
Same. You're allowed to vote more than once. It's built into the system. But
we were honorable.
only voted once. I did vote for myself in every category I was nominated in, but only one time.
You got it. But it's really nice. It's such a fun. It's like it was on camera this time. It was such a fun event. There was such good energy. It's a nice fandom.
Yeah, it was not only fun. I think I assume for the viewers who got to watch it happen on YouTube, but it was a lot of fun for like the 40 of us who got to hang out, I guess, in sort of this virtual green room where no one else like on YouTube could see all of the people waiting to be on camera because they would only see whoever was talking. But we could see everyone in their nice outfits and their great backgrounds doing bits and some shtick for just the people in the room. And it was nice to hang out and talk to a bunch of people that we don't normally get to hang out and talk to because we just hear them on a podcast.
Can you watch it still?
I believe so, yeah. I think if you look up 2024 Muppet Twitter Awards on YouTube, I think you will find it.
Because Jeff Yorks was on it, and he had some little behind-the-scenes nuggets about Muppet Mayhem as he was winning awards. So that was kind of fun.
Yeah,
too.
Jeff Yorks was there as the representative for every official Muppet thing.
Yeah,
and so anytime
and some unofficial Muppet things too.
Yes, but every time that the Muppets Mayhem or an official Muppet would win something, Jeff Yorks would step in to accept the awards
for Floyd and stuff. Yeah.
So yeah, if you want to watch that awards ceremony in full, it is actually, you'll search for the 3rd annual Muppet Twit Awards on YouTube. It's on Tori Schmidt's YouTube channel, and we will link that in the show description as well if you don't want to go hunting for it. But thanks again to everyone who voted for us. And Sam, how about you tell those people who are listening right now, who voted for us probably, what we watched this week?
It's Saturday, October 5th, 1985. You're like 8 years old, so somehow you stayed up until 3 in the morning playing Super Mario, and were still able to wake up at 6 a.m. to start watching cartoons. You sit in front of the warm glow of the tube TV as the Wuzzles end credits play, eagerly awaiting the start of Muppet Babies for some reason. After a commercial for Cabbage Patch Dolls, start it does. This episode is called The Great Cookie Robbery, and it proceeds as such. Gonzo has developed a new stunt, but all the other babies are too busy to watch him. Dejectedly, he goes on with the stunt alone, which ends up with him launching himself into the kitchen where Nanny has returned from shopping, and she's a bit stressed because she hasn't had time to make lunch. So she sends Gonzo back to the playroom with a box of animal crackers to share with the others to hold them over. But before Gonzo goes back into the playroom, he gets a devilish idea. Since none of the other babies cared about his stunt, maybe he should just eat all the cookies himself to teach him a lesson. He does, and then walks back in to find all the babies basically starving to death. They tell stories to take their minds off of the gnawing hunger, while Gonzo alternates between sneaking more cookies and feeling more paranoid and guilty about it. Eventually, Kermit tells them a story about a train robbery wherein the bandit demands the babies hand over all their cookies. But they don't have any, and it seems as though they are about to be imaginary killed when Gonzo, blaming himself for their cookielessness, jumps into action, thwarting the bandit but dropping the box of cookies for all to see in the commotion. Gonzo apologizes and is quickly forgiven, and then Nanny brings everybody sandwiches, and the babies don't even snitch on Gonzo, which I thought was the best part of the episode. Next up, October 12th, 1985. You're still a kid, it's still the 80s, and it's Saturday morning. You're probably eating a bowl of Ghostbuster cereal or something like that, playing with G.I. Joes or whatever, and then the Muppet Babies theme blares out of the huge wood-paneled television in your den. This episode is called Out of This World History, and here we go. The babies are playing pirate when Nanny comes in and tells them that playing is fun and all, but it's time to learn the hard truths of the world, such as pirates were violent, pillaging monsters who were put to death when caught. She leaves them a book of history so they can educate themselves and stop being stupid babies. They read about dinosaurs and Isaac Newton and stuff like that. before they and the episode's writer decides that history is boring and they have an imaginary adventure to space where Gonzo once again saves them from being imaginarily killed. Even as a child, you recognize that that was not a good episode of Muppet Babies. Finally, October 19th, 1985. It's a crisp autumn morning. Yesterday evening, you went out and got one of those crappy Halloween costumes where it's like a plastic mask and like a smock. You know what I'm talking about, Matt?
Yeah, I think they actually made Muppet Babies ones of those.
Well, you're not dorky enough to get a Muppet Baby one, but you are dorky enough to get a C-3PO one. And your mom also got you a new set of Transformers pajamas, which you wear as you watch a show that is basically the exact opposite of space robots killing each other. Muppet Babies. This episode's called Snow White and the Seven Muppets, and you can probably guess what happens in it, but I'll tell you anyway. The Muppet Babies put on a play of Snow White and the Seven Dwarves, but notably, kind of the undercurrent is that Piggy really wants to play Snow White, but Skeeter gets the part, so Piggy is stuck as the evil queen and spends the whole episode trying to sabotage the show until Nanny comes in at the end and says that she always wanted to be the evil queen in that play, and then Piggy and all the other babies suddenly decide that they want to be the evil queen too. Otherwise, it's just the plot of Snow White.
I just looked it up, and there are some fantastic Muppet Babies costumes that are the plastic mask with the smock. But I found an ad from 1986 of these costumes alongside some very good Gobo, Red, Doozer, and Sesame Street Muppets as well, including Marshall Grover.
Oh, I love that Marshall Grover.
Also, I think the weirdest one amongst that crowd is the Dodo Girl from Follow That
I
Bird.
was gonna say, that's who that is?
I mean, it's a dodo, and I think that's the only dodo relevant to Sesame Street around
Dodo.
this time.
What the heck?
So yeah, all your classic favorites. The sad Big Bird, the Dodo Girl from Follow That Bird.
That Big Bird is so sad.
That Big Bird kid wanted to be the Count and then
Yeah.
got Big Bird instead.
And look at the Count Kid is like,
So
oh,
proud.
Hell yes.
But Doozer Kid, also very good. My favorite thing about all of the Fraggle Rock and Muppet Babies ones is on the costume, there's a picture of the character. So it's like,
Mhm.
if you don't understand what the mask is supposed to be, look here.
Yeah, but the Sesame Street guys don't have that as much.
Yeah, Sesame Street had better merchandise.
Did you ever have one of those kind of costumes when you were a kid?
I was trying to remember, and I feel like I must have, but no clear memory. I was a stickler for good costumes
Yeah,
as a
me
kid. I
too.
remember having a Darth Vader costume in like 4th grade, 3rd grade maybe.
Yeah.
And it was the full
Oh,
like plastic helmet velcroing over my head kind of thing.
Oh, uh-huh. Yeah, I was also a stickler. I never had one. I couldn't stand store-bought costumes.
My mom also would make my costumes sometimes, and there's a fantastic old picture of me from 1st or 2nd grade where my mom hand-stitched an entire Tommy the Green Ranger costume for me,
Oh,
including a golden shiny shield.
Hell yeah.
Because I think I was not happy with the quality of the store bought Power Rangers costumes that
Turned
were
your nose
available.
up at it.
And so she was like, all right, I'll make him one.
Was that a costume that you wore after Halloween to play sometimes?
Not that I remember, weirdly,
Huh.
because I mean, I would play Power Rangers a lot with friends, but I don't remember ever like
I
actively
guess if you came out in full regalia, your friends would be like, dude, what are you doing?
winning. What do you think I'm doing?
Yeah, that's true.
But yeah, weirdly, I feel like it feels like a no-brainer now to say like, obviously, I should have been playing in that costume more often.
Yeah.
But no, I don't think I ever did.
Yeah, we had dinosaur costumes. I remember me and my little brother playing, and they had big tails, and we would
Oh man,
swing them around.
that'd be great because me and my friends used to play Land Before Time. Like we would like
Oh,
pretend
yeah.
to be the different characters. But no,
My mom died. Fun game, Matt.
that's how every game started. It was always
Let's
just like,
go eat some
"Oh."
leaves outside. I bet you ate a leaf because of that movie, didn't you?
Again, not that I remember. That might be though because the leaf was poisonous or something, and it altered my memory. So
You weren't the same afterwards.
no, never
All
been
right.
the same since.
Meanwhile, in October 1985, nothing too exciting was happening, but I did realize something about Saturday morning TV and kids' TV as I was writing all this stuff. So when I was a kid and when Matt was a kid, all the TVs like ABC, NBC, CBS, they pretty much formalized their Saturday morning schedules into blocks, like one Saturday morning, or like the one where it'd be like, we'll be right back after the show. Remember that?
Close enough. After these messages, we'll be
that's what it
right
was.
back.
So they had these like graphics packages, this like branding that was great. But in the mid 80s, a lot of the more famous shows nowadays, like G.I. Joe's, Masters of the Universe, Transformers, Voltron, those were all syndicated. So station affiliates could have chosen to play G.I. Joe instead of Scooby-Doo or Bugs Bunny reruns. And they probably did, but they don't show up on schedules because it was basically just like, you want kids to watch your channel? Slot, He-Man in right here. So they weren't part of official Saturday morning TV schedules, but the sad child who I've imagined, who's only watching the generic TV schedule, probably instead would have been watching, Transformers and smashing stuff up in his living room as they shot at each other. And then some other stuff on non-Saturday morning TV at this time included Punky Brewster, Amazing Stories, the Bruce Willis breakout series Moonlighting, A-Team, MacGyver, Perfect Strangers, Magnum P.I., St. Elsewhere, and Family Ties, because it was the 80s. The most 80s.
Have you ever watched Moonlighting?
I've always wanted to, but it's one of those kind of semi-lost pieces
not
of
anymore.
media, It's not? Is it out somewhere?
They recently started streaming it, I think maybe on Peacock or something. But yeah, I know it just recently became available. It's on Hulu. But yeah, you can now stream
That's one that's always been on
Moonlighting.
my list of ones to steal, but now I don't have to.
Yeah, I've always heard that it's supposed to be like one of the greatest sitcoms of all time.
Yeah.
And I've never seen a moment of it. Well, elsewhere in the world of the Muppets around this time, not much is going on in Jim's journal. The only thing he wrote down during this time period is from October 21st, 1985, and wrote, "In Indianapolis, Art of Mups."
Art of Mups.
Art of Mups. And this is referring to his trip out to see the Art of the Muppets exhibit at the Children's Museum of Indianapolis. Could you frickin' imagine that, like, you're going to this Muppet art exhibit and Jim Henson himself is like, "Hey guys, I'm here. How's it going?
Look at all the Mups.
My babies. What have you done with my babies?"
Smashing the glass.
Yes.
Let 'em
Free, run,
free.
run. Run, Harry the
They're
hipster,
alive.
run.
Didn't you realize they were alive?
Well, getting into the first episode that we watched this week, from October 5th, 1985, it is the great cookie robbery. And I will say, Sam, this is the first episode that felt familiar to me.
Okay. Oh, like you've seen it before.
Yeah, I think in reruns somewhere along the way on Disney Channel or something like that. I think I have seen this episode before because not the whole episode, but parts of it definitely felt like I had seen them before.
This episode to me had a plot that
Check.
made sense for the most part. This also felt like it would be a great pilot episode for Muppet Babies. It had like a really beautiful intro where he's getting pushed around on the train,
Yeah.
and it kind of shows off everybody's thing.
There
They
is
have a bathroom, which that surprised me when they went into the bathroom at the beginning of the episode.
there is a lot of like this Muppet's doing their thing, this Muppet's doing their thing, while this Muppet's doing their
Yeah.
thing kind of thing. Like Kermit's got a cool rideable train like Walt Disney.
And he's the king of the world, and everybody has to play the game he wants to play, basically, or help support his dreams.
Piggy's putting on a bunch of makeup in the bathroom, where she's imagining herself on the cover of Teen Pig and Swine Life, and says that her and Kermit's romance will be discussed in Hog Wild magazine.
That one sounds like it's probably the name of an adult magazine, right?
The
Like in real life?
The caption underneath Hog Wild on the magazine cover just says, "Too much." That's all it says. It's just too much.
It's like that the Pigs Alternate Society. It's one of their nasty magazines. All their magazines are
Yeah, I was gonna
nasty
say, yeah.
magazines, though.
Scooter's clacking away on his computer playing some game. Animal, notably, is sitting on top of the computer. And he just yells, "Tron!" But the main plot does kick off when Gonzo tries to break the nursery airspeed record by slingshotting himself in a tricycle cardboard box combo all around the house. And he crashes into the kitchen, landing in a grocery bag, because as Sam mentioned, we see Nanny
I thought this was notable as well.
coming in the back door from grocery shopping as Gonzo crashes into the kitchen.
Yeah.
She wasn't in the house, presumably for an hour or so. And
Nanny's reading is big grandma energy to me. She left the babies alone, which I think is what you're about to say, in the house for who knows how long, and she went grocery shopping. Also, they're all starving.
yeah, she gets home and realizes that she's late to give the kids lunch and she can't make them anything. She's too rushed. And so she just gives Gonzo a box of cookies and says, give the others one cookie each and I'll have lunch ready as soon as I can.
That'll be fine. But so this feels like something that you would, and I don't have a kid, I don't know what it's like, but you drop your kids off at your parents' house so the kids can hang out with their grandparents while you went and did whatever. And then you get back and the kid's like, Grandma left us alone for a while and went shopping. And you're like, she did what? And then the grandma's like, oh, yeah, I mean, I used to do that with you all the time.
It's like, yeah, that's why I have trust issues, Mom.
Yeah. So I think Nanny is elderly. That's my new running age for Nanny.
I mean, Barbara Billingsley is the voice who at this time was, I think, definitely in her 60s, if not 70s. So I think elderly is the right read on Nanny. This doesn't even come across, though, as forgetful. This come across as, like, straight up neglectful.
Oh, absolutely. Just, like, not even... It's not forgetful. It's not thoughtful is what it's not.
Right.
And for the person writing the episode, they could have just written that she had groceries delivered. Groceries were delivered back then.
Yeah, it is bizarre to have her leaving the house for an extended period of time.
Yeah.
And then having that affect the kids' hunger as well. Like, not only was she not around while they were jumping around and potentially injuring themselves, but also not around for them to eat lunch.
Yeah, at some point she went, shoot, I guess my babies need to eat food. So I better go to the grocery store. I don't have literally no food in my house for the 12 babies I take care of.
So Gonzo goes back to the nursery, and this is when he has to decide whether or not to share the cookies with his friends, as Nanny told him, or to keep them for himself and eat.
Because nobody cared about him in his stunt.
Yeah.
Spurned him. Sporned. I almost said sporned.
Well, maybe you're just slipping into your devil Gonzo accent.
Yeah.
Because
you
annoyed. Don't listen to that Noid. Eat the cookies. We see a devil and angel Gonzo pop up over his shoulders, and they're delightful.
They're really cute. The devil one has like a little biker outfit on.
And the angel almost convinces Gonzo because he says that you'll be a criminal and you can't look Kermit in the face if you eat the cookies.
That's a pretty good argument. Everybody respects Kermit.
Well, and when he tells
Kermit
Gonzo
only.
he'll be a criminal, Gonzo's like, oh, shit, okay, I don't want to be a criminal, so I won't do that. But then the devil...
be a sicko.
Then the devil does a fantastic job of convincing him that, like, hey, actually, cookies are pretty good, and I think you should just eat them. And Gonzo very quickly sides with the devil.
Are you a criminal if you get away with the crime scot-free and no one ever knows?
Yeah,
I would argue no.
Not officially on the books, I guess, but
in your heart, you know,
because like there's a difference between like going over the speed limit and murder. Because
I guess you did a crime.
You did a crime.
If we were shoulder angel and devil, I would be the devil.
Absolutely.
I think for sure, right?
No doubt in my mind. You're the one calling me annoyed.
Yeah, and I'd pull your halo over your body so your arms are kind of stuck.
By the way, the devil's argument for why Gonzo should be allowed to have the cookies is because he says, well, if you hadn't been in the kitchen, no one would have gotten cookies anyway.
That's true. Nanny didn't. It's just like a tossed off thought on Nanny's part. So he's actually right.
But that's when we see the babies are starving to death. They're writhing around in pain. Their tongues are just hanging out weirdly, which is upsetting.
At various points, some of them are like chewing on teddy bears and stuff like that. They're so hungry.
And almost immediately they catch Gonzo because he's sneaking cookies behind the TV set.
He goes behind the TV. The least hidden place. I mean, the most suspicious place you could possibly pick to go.
Yeah, he's definitely got some sort of food obsession happening in this episode, which I thought, I think what you were saying is right about this episode being a good pilot because it introduces all of our characters, but I also think it makes Gonzo look like a jerk in a way that he is not in most other Muppet media.
Right. Even in this show, he's a bigger jerk in this show than he is in anything else. But
he's usually like a hapless jerk who just kind of stumbles into, he'll be a little bit of a jerk, but everyone's like, Gonzo, come on.
He's a creep.
Yeah. Although I will, less of a creep in season 2 so far.
Yeah,
Season
that's
1,
true.
he was hitting on Piggy every single episode. Season 2, we've definitely seen a couple examples, but it's not every episode.
They're a little bit more antagonistic towards each other than anything.
Yeah, she's beating him up a lot, but not always
Yeah.
because he's trying to make out with her.
Yeah, that's an improvement, believe it or not, folks. But yeah, this is like the first hint of conflict, really, that the babies have had with each other, almost. But I was thinking, we can talk about this more in the Snow White part. Is it bad that the 2 girl babies are the only ones who fight with each other? That seems like a harmful message to me somehow. The only ones who truly hate each other are the 2 girls and the brother and sister to some degree.
Yeah, I guess, that is definitely a thing that they lean on often, is that they give the 2 girl Muppets a reason to fight about something. In the Snow White episode, they're fighting about who's the prettiest and who should be this kind of thing.
Yeah.
And I think I think it's nice to use that kind of thing to show that Skeeter is multidimensional. Because I think
Yes,
often
that's true.
they have Piggy being, I am the pretty girl who does the girly things. And Skeeter's like,
Right.
I'm the tomboy who does the sporty things. And so I
Right.
like when they show Skeeter is also sometimes interested in girly things. I think that's a nice touch on her character. But you're absolutely right. And that those are the 2 characters that are most often the ones fighting with each other.
Who are like faces pressed into each other, like, no, me. Yeah.
I mean, maybe they feel weird about having conflict between, Piggy's an easy character to have conflict with because of the way she behaves in episodes.
Right.
And so maybe they feel weird having, Rolf fight Piggy. And so they're like, I guess maybe it's slightly better if Skeeter fights Piggy, but I think at the end of the day, the seed there is not a great story seed of just have the girls fight.
Yeah. I mean, I guess back in the Muppet Show days, everybody had a turn going toe-to-toe with Piggy, sort of. She was always trying to butt in on somebody's thing.
Yeah, it's also interesting. I think there's a few messages throughout these episodes that's a little mixed for kids as far as I see what you're trying to teach there, but also it would be pretty easy for kids to take the wrong lesson from this.
Okay. Like what?
This episode's the big one, I think.
Okay.
We'll get to that. But yeah, throughout this episode, Gonzo cannot help but keep sneaking cookies.
In front of everybody. He wants to get caught.
Yeah, he is, trying to hide under a lampshade at one point to hide from them. But, something they do well in the Muppet Babies is they lean on imagination. That's what they're trying to encourage here. And Skeeter, being one of the smarter Muppets, suggests, hey, what if we distract ourselves from food and our hunger and our bellies trying to eat themselves by, trying to tell the weirdest story that we can think of.
A truly sad concept for an episode of a children's series. We're so hungry we have to distract ourselves.
Even sadder when we get to Kermit's story, by the way. But before we get to that, Piggy starts to tell a story about Gonzo. And at first you're like, okay, this is a story taking place at the South Pole. I thought maybe they were going to do a The Thing homage, which thankfully they don't.
What do you mean? If that had happened, we would have been like, wow, that was so cool.
What?
Not for kids, though.
Right, yeah. I don't want anything, I don't want
You don't want
Gonzo.
Rolf's head to fall off and scurry across the floor.
No, I don't want that. I'll put it on the record. I don't want that to happen. But no.
What if there was The Thing, but The Thing was turning everybody into Muppets? And McCready was walking around hey, did you get attacked by The Thing? And then it's just a guy who's literally like, no, I don't know what you're talking about.
Hey, Kurt Russell, if you're out there, give us a call.
Yeah, we gotta do this.
Just called The Muppet Thing. That's all we need.
The Mupp. It's called The Mupp.
The Mupp. We bring it back. We bring back Jim's favorite word.
I do like the laziness of The Muppet Thing.
Hey, they did a Muppets Wizard of Oz, okay? This is the same thing.
Yeah. I mean, absolutely.
Unless it's The Muppets The Thing.
The Muppets The Thing. Yeah, that's it.
But in this story, the weird story that Piggy's trying to tell, Gonzo shows up with pizza in the South Pole and convinces Piggy to marry him for pizza.
Yeah.
So we go to
Is this one of the messages that's not good?
I mean, yeah, it's not a great message of marry people for pizza, but I think it's as part of a weird story, I'm okay with it because it does go off the rails because we go to a cathedral where it's time for their wedding. Scooter, Skeeter, and Fozzie are all sobbing because they cry at weddings. Kermit is a ship captain, which, they're allowed to be ordained and marry people.
I guess, but Why?
'Cause it's a weird
There's
story,
like the
Sam.
whole bow of a ship inside. Yeah, okay. You're right. I retract my why.
All the other guests
It's
at
a
the
weird
wedding are
story.
penguins. Piggy's tongue is hanging out during the wedding because I guess she's starving.
So hungry.
And yeah, this is definitely one of the weirder imagination scenes we've seen. So good job.
I don't like that they, after this, immediately this is the thing they do a lot, where they dispose of the concept of the story.
Yeah.
Of the thing they're doing immediately, because not everybody gets a chance to tell a weird story.
No.
Immediately, Kermit's just like, I don't have enough imagination to think of anything, so I'll just tell you about a stupid dream I had.
Yeah, Kermit is incapable of coming up with a weird story, which I guess maybe relates back to what we talked about last time of Kermit is like only really able to tell the fantasy like fairy tale stories as they are.
Yeah.
So I guess Kermit's just the least imaginative of the Muppets. And so he has to recount one of his dreams, which leads to a delightful first sentence, which is, "Hop on, my train is part of the dream."
I gotta also say, I thought that train was imaginary at the beginning of the episode, but it is not.
Seems like a
He's
very
got
real-
that beautiful train set with tracks that go all the way around.
I mean, it's in the intro. It's in the theme song, Sam. You got to imagine.
Oh yeah, you're right.
That's a thing that we've only seen once so
Yeah, you're
far,
right, you're
but
right.
it is in the theme song.
Kermit would totally be a train guy when he grows up too. He'd have the basement with all the trains in it.
Oh yeah.
Sit down there, making the little ding ding ding, making the little gates go up and down. Yeah.
Before we get into Kermit's story, there is more moments of them writhing around in pain. And Scooter says, "We'll never last until Nanny brings a lunch."
How long does it take her to make a bunch of sandwiches?
Yeah, she does end up just making a plate of PB&Js. So presumably maybe this was only like 5 minutes, but the kids feel like it's a lot longer. When they're taking the train into Kermit's dream, they go into the dark closet, and once again we hear Gonzo chowing down on some cookies. And then, of course, as they see themselves on a beautiful train in the countryside, Rolf just goes, "Hey, you hear that?" And now we're in a song.
It's my turn.
The song in this episode is Railroad Tracking, which includes the lyrics, "Tracking, railroad tracking, I sure like tracking with you."
What does this mean?
I think it means less than nothing.
Why tracking? Why couldn't it be called like railroad riding or something?
It's nothing. It's absolutely nothing. But Kermit's weird dream seems to be that the old school train morphs into a bullet train and then turns into a rocket train, which takes them to the moon. They fly into the mouth of the moon, who slurps them up like spaghetti. And then they land on the moon, see a bunch of aliens, some of whom look like giant vegetables. And the vegetables want to go to Hollywood, and so they get in the train, and Kermit's going to take them back to Hollywood. It sounds like I'm telling you my own dream, because that's...
Yeah, you know, like that just like, it's really true that other people's dreams are boring. It's just like psychologically like, and it's like, I feel like the same way when I write the episode descriptions, where it's like, all this happened in a fantasy, so it doesn't matter. And I cannot make myself care about the fact that they were like in the Revolutionary War, because they just weren't. But to hear, like, I picture Kermit saying this just exactly the way you said it. And the other babies are like, okay.
So,
I mean, that's not really what we were doing.
well, and also,
but...
like, okay, so in this imagination, I'm just going to be a person sitting on a train. Fun for me. This is great.
Cool story. Piggy let us be like priests and stuff. I don't know what you're doing.
I will say there was one good moment during this where after the aliens had boarded the train, Piggy leans over to Fozzie and says, "Whatever you do, don't tell any jokes." And they slide the camera over to reveal a giant tomato alien sitting next to Piggy.
That was pretty good.
But one-eyed Jake shows up. This is the part of the dream Kermit didn't want anyone to know about.
His Kermit's shameful dream.
Yeah, the great cookie robbery has commenced. This cowboy is on the train. We see him like Nanny, only from like the waist down.
I thought that was interesting.
I think it's
like,
a good choice in this.
Yeah, me too.
Because he says, "Reach for the sky." And presumably he would have a gun.
Oh, sure. I guess that makes sense. They do react as if he is able to kill them.
Yes, because they say, "Now you're going to get it." And Gonzo goes, "Oh, my friends are going to get it." I mean, the only it in this case would be a gun.
Death. Yeah. Imaginary death, but death.
Yes. But if you die in imaginary train, you die in real life.
And Gonzo does indeed treat it that way because he, well, you know, he's pressed to confess his crimes because of this dream sequence.
Yeah, he, One-Eyed Jake is trying to rob them of cookies, and if no one gives up their cookies, he's gonna shoot them, apparently.
Yeah.
And so
sure.
Gonzo gives up the cookies, admitting to everyone that he was hiding them the whole time.
Well, he turns into the Lone Ranger and then shoots the cowboy guy with a bunch of goo. What was the goo? Did I miss what the goo was?
I don't know if they say what the goo was.
Okay.
I assumed frosting or something.
He just can't shoot him with a gun.
Oh, yeah, no.
But yeah, then he fesses up and they're like, that was so brave of you to confess, Gonzo.
Yeah, and Nanny comes in with the PB&J sandwiches. There's also some green sandwiches, like gooey green sandwiches. Not sure what those are. Once again, she mentions being so busy with shopping that she couldn't prepare lunch on time. It's like, yeah, we know, Nanny. You're not great at this job. She also says, I hope the cookies Gonzo brought you helped a little. And Kermit covers for him.
This is awesome. This is a good lesson for kids.
Is it? Explain.
When it relates to other children.
Explain.
You can't snitch. Don't be a snitch. That's the
this
lesson.
This is a Snitches Get Stitches episode of the Muppet Babies.
Exactly. That's exactly what it was. But yeah, Kermit's like, they were great.
See, I think this is...
But now he has one over. The other lesson is, now he's got one on Gonzo. He's got some blackmail.
But then that wouldn't work as blackmail, because you know what happens? If Gonzo does something else that Kermit tries to hold over him, Kermit can't admit to Nanny that he lied before.
He lied to Nanny. Yeah, but he could... Gonzo maybe isn't logical enough to play it out that far. He would rather them... Kermit's crazy enough to get them both in trouble. And Gonzo knows it.
See, I think I'm torn a bit on this lesson, because I feel like it is teaching kids it's okay to lie sometimes.
Yeah, it's weird. And also, you can do whatever you want and your friends will forgive you as long as you mean it when you apologize only if you get caught.
Yeah, if your friends are starving to death, you can eat all the food. Extrapolate this out to your friend breaks your front window with a baseball when you're a kid, and you lie to your parents and say you don't know how it happened.
But you could blackmail your friend in that situation. No problem, I think, Matt. I'm just putting myself in that place.
In the place of being the devil on the shoulder? Absolutely.
Yep.
Confirmed.
Yeah.
I have one even bigger gripe with this episode, though, Sam.
Okay.
At the end, Nanny says thanks to Gonzo for sharing the cookies, and as a reward, I have made you your favorite sandwich.
Oh, my God. What? Yeah.
His favorite sandwich is a peanut butter and banana sandwich.
Are we supposed to think that's a weird sandwich?
It's not a weird enough sandwich.
That's one of the finest sandwiches a person can eat.
A very common sandwich. It should have been like a peanut butter and tuna fish sandwich or something like even a little bit more weird.
Especially because early in this episode, he says that he likes cookies with octopus eggs on them.
Precisely.
They've set us up for weirdness, but it's not delivered.
And something we talked about, I think, in the Joe Hennis Little Muppet Monsters episode, is that sometimes this is Gonzo's biggest fault, is that all he has become is, I'm going to say a weird thing right now. It's a non sequitur. It doesn't matter at all. But ain't it wacky? And you have a perfect opportunity here to have an in-storyline wacky thing happen.
Yeah.
And you choose just something slightly outside the norm.
Do you think they thought it was a weird sandwich?
I feel like it's presented as if it's a weird sandwich because everyone else, they don't say what they're eating. But this one is presented as, Gonzo, I made your favorite sandwich, peanut butter and banana.
I did like the animation of animals stealing the sandwich away from Gonzo and eating the whole thing, including the plate.
Yeah, I feel like this is a batch of episodes where animals' moments are okay, but he doesn't get to shine in any of these episodes.
Yeah, there's not a very prominent animal episode, but I think you talking about how Baby Animal is the true ideal of animal has made me come around on Baby Animal a lot more.
He's just the most chaotic in a way that is a nice thing in the middle of these episodes where a lot of the other Muppet Babies are pretty much the same character.
Yeah, and it's fun to be able to see some of the stuff that Puppet Animal couldn't do borne out into reality. Just like how sometimes it's fun to see Piggy like lift stuff up and be strong, or like things they could only describe. It's fun to see Baby Animal like truly destroy stuff in a way that the puppet couldn't necessarily.
And I think there is I think I've talked about him being pure chaos in the past, but there are moments of him being a little bit of a sweetheart and actually trying to help. Like we saw him in the past episodes trying to cheer up Fozzie.
Yeah.
And there's some moments throughout these episodes where he is trying to be as helpful as possible. He's just not great at it because he's a little messy baby.
Because he's a little animal.
You haven't been rating these episodes, right? I feel like we haven't been doing that.
I don't think so,
Okay.
and I don't care to start.
I also realized somebody pointed out, I think on Discord or something like that we rated Tug, Molly, and Boo out of 5 instead of out of 10 last time.
Oh, whoops.
The next episode is from October 12th, 1985. It's Out of This World History. A fascinating episode.
Oh, I think this episode showcases all the worst parts of Muppet Babies to me.
I think it definitely dives off a cliff at a certain point.
Yeah.
Which I think we're both aligned on based on your summary of this episode at the beginning.
Yeah.
But the opening of this episode,
Fantastic.
the most unexpected moment of Muppet Babies so far. So
another example of Nanny maybe not being the best choice for babysitter of these babies.
I think this is one in favor for Nanny. I think this is the perfect use of Nanny. I think she's doing her job of setting these kids straight.
That's right. I think you're right.
Well, the kids are playing pirate. Skeeter is Blackbeard. And there's a little cannon fight with Captain LaFrog, played by Kermit, who's trying to free Piggy from the clutches of Blackbeard. The one good moment I will say is in the middle of this, Skeeter goes to stab Piggy with her cardboard sword, and it dents it. And so later on, we see Skeeter ironing her cardboard sword.
She's so disappointed that it doesn't stab and kill Piggy also.
Well, I also feel like in their normal imaginations, it just would.
Yeah.
Like we're leaving a little room for the imagination to be broken a little bit here, because normally in their imaginations, a cardboard sword would just be a real sword, and she would stab Piggy to death.
Were we in the baby's head at that moment? Then Piggy would be gone.
But Skeeter fights Kermit in a sword fight, and Skeeter kicks his ass.
Well, yeah, she's the tough one.
And Piggy says a line, which I have to imagine had to be said multiple times in the voice booth. No one out buck swashes my swashbuckler. And Piggy breaks free to fight off Skeeter on her own.
Oh, I liked that. I liked when Piggy busted her chains. That was cool.
Throughout this, which will become relevant later, Gonzo is wanting to play spaceship, not pirate ship. He is dressed in a little astronaut outfit, and for most of the episode, he's just annoying about it and doesn't go along with the kids' plans. But unfortunately, it does become relevant eventually.
Once everything else gets boring enough, they're like, fine, we can play your game.
But for now, Nanny comes in, says, "What's going on in here?" And Skeeter says, "We were playing pirates, and I wish I was a real pirate. They were brave and heroic and sailed the 7 seas." And Nanny says,
Hell yeah.
"Sit down, kids. Not all pirates were brave and heroic. In fact, the real Blackbeard wasn't very nice at all. His real name was Edward Teach, and he used to attack ships and hurt people."
What did they think he did?
They just see the idea of pirates like Captain Hook, and they're just like, pirates seem to have a good time. They're on boats. This is awesome. And then, all right, so when this happened in the episode, I had to pause and sit with it for a moment. Because Nanny's telling them that he used to hurt people, and then says, until 1718 when they caught him, and, well... And Scooter jumps in here and goes, "You mean..." And does the slitting throat motion.
Across the throat.
And Nanny goes, "Uh-huh."
The babies already knew about corporal punishment, so
Well, and
that wasn't
Blackbeard was decapitated.
He was?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
They shot him, they stabbed him a bunch of times, and then they cut off his head.
Great guess, Scooter.
Right on the money. And then Nanny just leaves.
Yep. She says, "Here's a book of other horrific things. Bye."
She leaves them with the picture book of world history and walks away after telling them the most gruesome death of Edward Teach.
So what do we think about that? Is that good or bad?
I think there is a way in which that could have been used throughout this series in a good way. I do think it is used, even just within this episode, so inconsistently that it is not done well.
You mean kind of like, do you mean like demystifying history, like telling the truth?
Right.
Of what
So call out pirates, but not colonization.
Yeah. I mean,
She's not stepping in to be like,
Yeah.
whoa, you guys are talking about Christopher Columbus? Sit down again.
in 1985, I think
Right.
for a lot of people that wasn't as mainstream a conversation. But I mean, obviously, yes, people knew that.
Right. But like, us in grade school, we were still learning the Christopher Columbus myth. So I think
Right.
like it's
And
not
if
surprising.
Nanny walked in and Kermit was pretending to be Christopher Columbus, she'd be like, "That's right, good job."
There's my
Kermit."
little frog boy discovering America. Yeah, I think between that and the Revolutionary War one doesn't get too far into anything that needs to be called out, but
Sure.
it definitely is inconsistent.
There were a couple times where I was scared they were going to start going to the Civil War.
Yeah, I was also, there was even a point where I think Gonzo starts talking about his favorite time in history, and Piggy
Yeah.
guesses the Civil War.
Yeah, that's when I got scared, I guess is right.
Yeah, and I would not be surprised if we see something concerning like that in the future.
If we see one of these guys dressed like a Confederate soldier, it wouldn't
Yes,
be
if we saw
blown away.
Gonzo in a Confederate soldier uniform fighting against Kermit in his blues, I would not be entirely surprised.
Yeah, that tracks.
We start off this world history lesson by going way back to prehistoric times, which is Scooter's favorite time apparently, because he wants to be a paleontologist now, which something I'm catching on to is that Scooter constantly says he wants to be something else when he grows up, which feels very accurate to children.
We do get a good Rolfism, like a grown-up Rolfism, when they're like not sure what paleontology is, and he's like, "Yeah, fossilosophy."
Mhm.
I was like, "That's Rolf. That's the Rolf I know. He's in there."
Yeah, there's a few moments throughout these episodes too where Rolf is the smarter, older one.
Yeah.
He just doesn't like showing it.
Just like real Rolf, I think real Rolf, if he shows he's too smart, people will start asking too much of him.
Yeah, he's smart enough that he's like, I'll show up, I'll play piano. And if someone says something really dumb, I'll step in and correct them. But otherwise,
Yeah.
I don't want anyone to ask
I'm
me to
just
do
gonna
anything.
get my check and get out of there.
I'm going to go meet Jimmy Dean at the bar. We're going to hang out. That's the only friend I need. Well, Nanny comes back in to yell at the kids for making so much noise after they let the dino loose in the city. And then just leaves again, because that's all she does. Just come in, say, hey,
Mhm.
shut up, and leaves. Then we get to see some uncharacteristically smart Fozzie. They open up the world history page to Sir Isaac Newton, and he goes, oh, I know this one. And he starts to talk about Sir Isaac Newton discovering gravity while sitting under the tomato tree. Well, this is when Piggy comes in and says, this part of history is boring. So they end up skipping around a lot, first going to Columbus discovering America. And this is when I wrote in my notes, where's Nanny when you need her? Kermit reveals that his favorite time in history is the Revolutionary War, just in time for them to pull out Yankee Doodle Rock.
Not a rock song. A ska song almost, actually, I would say.
It's sort of generally singing about America, but not even that. It's just kind of using the words Yankee Doodle Rock over,
Yeah.
and then says Yankee Doodle Rock-a-Doodle. And why is there a giant chicken chasing them throughout this song?
I don't know. I wrote several times in my notes that they just need to make these episodes shorter.
Yeah.
Not everyone needs to have a song. And especially this batch, I think, really showcases how little each one needs to have a song.
Well, in this one, really, like, the song isn't even the down, isn't even in the worst
No.
part of this episode.
No, and this was also wow, this is only halfway through the episode, huh?
There was one part I did enjoy where Fozzie makes a joke about the Constitution saying they can all wear short sleeves. And they're like, what? He's like, the right to bear arms.
Don't teach kids about that too early. Come on.
But it works on multiple levels because he's a bear.
That was an actual joke that Fozzie told.
Yeah, but you are right. Concerning to bring up the right to bear arms
Yeah.
on a baby show. Because kids might ask, what does
They'll say,
that
"What
actually
does that
mean?
And then their dad will be like, I've been waiting for you to ask me this question.
And then we get to Gonzo's favorite time because he's found a science fiction book. And Piggy's like, that ain't history. And he's like, it is to weirdos. So now let's pad out the rest of this episode with my
Yeah.
story.
Now, for some reason, the writer of this episode couldn't think of enough stuff about the history of the
Yeah.
entire world to make a whole episode about the history of the entire world. They've already done like a ancient Egypt thing. They do a Roman thing.
Yeah.
Do a anything.
Literally anything that's ever happened for real.
could be in this episode, but they decide to make it about space and not history at all, which upset me so deeply for I can't understand why, but it did.
You could even do Neil Armstrong landing on the moon.
Yeah.
You could do
Gonzo
actual
gets to go to
space history.
Mm-hmm.
It could be a parody of
Gonzo
The
can
Right
go to
Stuff. It
space.
could be anything that has really happened in history with
Yeah.
space.
Yes, if Gonzo said my favorite part of history is the space, not the space, he maybe wouldn't say a space race. Maybe they would. My favorite part of history is just the getting to the moon.
Yeah.
Everyone would say, that tracks. That's like the biggest stunt of all time.
Yeah, when we beat the Reds to the moon. That's my favorite point in history.
I don't know. I think Gonzo might be a communist sympathizer.
He's a secret spy in the nursery trying to catch
Yeah.
Kermit.
He's got some microfiche he's sneaking out
Yeah,
of
he's
there.
trying to get Kermit's information that he's got. Because if anyone's working for the government in this nursery,
It's Kermit.
It's Kermit.
Yeah, you're right.
Speaking of communist sympathizers, Sam, recently I saw a tweet thread going around, and there's a number of these, of recasting Oppenheimer with Muppets.
Okay.
And I want to get your opinion on their choices. And I will say, they didn't do the thing that sometimes people try to do and only leave one human. They left two humans.
Oh, wow.
So first up, we have Oppenheimer played by Kermit the Frog.
I'm accepting that. Well, yeah, he's a lanky kind of fella. What's next?
We got Kitty Oppenheimer, played by Miss Piggy.
I'm interested to know who Frances Pugh's character is played by.
Wow, you're so far off on that name.
What's her name?
Florence.
Damn it. I really thought I knew that one.
You said it very confidently.
Maybe there is a Frances Pugh, you know?
Yeah, I'm sure she's got a grandmother.
That's who I meant, okay?
We got Robert Downey Jr., played by Robert Downey Jr. They kept him playing Louis Strauss.
I kind of like that, I guess, because he's so mad at everybody else in the movie.
Right? That's pretty
Yeah.
good.
That's pretty good. And then him trying to betray the Muppets and then them getting one over on him is a really good.
Yeah, like if you
Okay, I
need
like
a
that.
villain for a Muppet movie,
Yeah.
Robert Downey Jr. would be a pretty good one.
He's great. He would hate those little guys so much.
Playing Matt Damon's role of Leslie Groves, the general sergeant, whatever he is,
Mhm.
Rolf the dog.
Yeah, I can see that. Loyal. He's loyal in the end.
Mhm. Florence, not Francis, Pugh's role of Jean Tatlock,
Uh-huh.
played by Florence Pugh.
Ew. Kermit, no. Kermit can't have sex with a human. We can't see it happen.
I mean, Kermit hitting on a blonde human makes a lot of sense to me.
I think Miss Piggy's a smoking hot babe, and I think Florence Pugh's a smoking hot babe. There is a Venn diagram similarity there to me. So, okay. Okay. I mean, I'd understand why Kermit would be into that for sure. I mean, it's better than seeing Kermit have sex with any other Muppet, because that would just be upsetting.
Yeah, we don't want to watch
I
either of
almost
these,
see
to
it
be
being
fair, I guess.
two different Miss Piggies, you know, like Miss Piggy in a wig and Miss Piggy in a
Could
different
be
wig.
Annie Sue.
It could be, or his girlfriend from that show.
Oh, Denise.
Yes,
yeah.
it could be Denise. Okay, I'm iffy on that.
Okay.
one.
They have David Krumholtz's character being played by Gonzo, which I could kind of see.
Yeah. Yeah, okay. I feel like I know who Fozzie's going to be, but Fozzie could also be that character. But go ahead.
They have the Senate aide, who's in the movie, played by Alden Ehrenreich, Rizzo the Rat.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I like that. He's Robert Downey Jr. and Rizzo hanging out the whole thing. That'd be great.
And who rats him out?
Yeah, that's right.
Rami Malek's character, David Hill,
Mm-hmm.
played by Bunsen Honeydew.
I don't love that.
No?
I don't feel like that's the energy that character has.
Let me know if you'd swap these two then.
Okay.
The next one, Albert Einstein, played by Beaker.
Oh yeah, I'd swap those two for sure.
Okay.
Because Beaker, because Rami Malek is the one who at the end comes and like presents the evidence, you know.
But imagine the scene imagine the scene of Einstein and Oppenheimer talking at the end of the movie, and it's just me.
Yeah, but I think I was gonna say imagine the scene at the end where Rami Malek's presenting the evidence and he's like me, and everybody
Also pretty good.
Everybody in the room's like, "What are you talking about?"
Yeah, Bunsen might be a little too serious for that.
Or at the end of his means the chair's like, "This is very damning evidence. Thank you for bringing it to us." Me. But Bunsen would look really funny as Albert Einstein with the hair. I think that I would swap those two.
Well, how about Fozzie, as Josh Hartnett's character, Ernest Lawrence.
That could almost be a Rolf also.
True, but I think Fozzie as like the friend who feels betrayed that they work together at the school.
Yeah. Okay.
Statler and Waldorf
I can buy that.
as the congressional hearing men.
Of course.
Of course.
They have to be.
We have the Swedish Chef as Edward Teller, the Benny Safdie role.
That's who I thought maybe was going to be Fozzie.
Oh, okay.
I like the Swedish Chef in that role.
I mean, I think they were like, okay, we have a Hungarian physicist.
Yeah.
We need a Muppet with an accent, Swedish Chef.
I feel like you could do Bobo in a pinch, maybe. Bobo putting on an accent. That might be fun.
I think Bobo's not smart enough to pull off that role.
No, but he's kind of a big, brute-looking guy, you know? Just like Benny Safdie in that role is kind of like, he's kind of imposing.
Yeah. Well, speaking of imposing, our last character here is Sam the Eagle, playing Boris Pash, Casey Affleck's role, the true shitheel of the U.S. government.
I don't agree with that because I just don't see Sam being conniving like that, I guess.
You don't think so?
I don't think he could be scary enough in that role.
I mean, if anyone's going to turn in the Muppets.
I think Sam Eagle would be the president. If anyone's going to turn in the Muppets, maybe you're right. Who's evil? I don't know. Uncle Deadly?
Uncle Deadly as Truman. I would like to see.
That would be fun. He'd have a top hat on and stuff. He'd be all decked out.
Well, that was our, not so quick Oppenheimer aside, which really shows you how much we cared about the end of this episode.
The Robert Downey Jr. of it all, that I really like. That's working for me. I don't think Kermit has the chops to pull off an Oppenheimer role, honestly.
I don't know. I feel like you got very serious, good Kermit in the Muppet Christmas Carol.
That's true.
Like when he's talking about, his kid dying in that, I could see him pulling off Oppenheimer.
It would be interesting to see Kermit watching the test of the bomb and being like, what have I done? Just reflecting off of his ping pong balls. How do you wear goggles? That would be difficult for him, but
I'm sure Kermit's wearing goggles at some point, though.
He is, yeah.
Anyway, we're ignoring the end of this episode because it sucks.
I thought it was okay. I thought it was interesting. So they go to space and the villain in space are presented as film reel footage dubbed over, which I think is fun. I thought it was fun to do it that way. I just think it was in the wrong episode.
Yeah, I lost interest in this multiple times. I think I paused this segment of the episode like 5 different times to go do something else because I was like, I don't want to watch this. And I come back and be like, I forgot I'm still watching this.
As a Mystery Science Theater guy, this was okay to me.
And I am not a Mystery Science Theater guy.
This was fine. I did think it was interesting that the villain lady calls them the Muppet Babies. That to me implies like an interesting amount of like self-awareness on the part of the Muppet Babies to imagine somebody calling them that.
Right. They know they are the Muppet Babies.
We are Muppets who are babies.
It almost feels like they would call themselves the Muppet Babies if like, who are you kids? Oh, we're the Muppet Babies.
Yeah. It's like, why do you say the babies part? That implies something troubling. The baby versions of what? We're the Muppet adults.
And you're really more like, Muppet infants or Muppet toddlers.
Yeah,
like
you're the Muppet toddlers. Well, yeah, but that doesn't really have the same ring to it.
But yeah, this episode just sort of ends with Piggy telling Gonzo that science fiction isn't real, and him insisting that it is to weirdos, and then showing some robots in the closet, and then he turns to us and says, "Did you see what I saw?"
It's like, yeah, you did it on purpose, bro.
Yeah.
You showed us the robots on purpose.
And also, you see things in that closet in every episode.
Yeah.
So it shouldn't weird you out that there's something in that closet.
Yeah. I put, this episode sucked ass at the end of my notes.
Yeah, I feel like it started off so strong with the Blackbeard thing. Because I really enjoyed Nanny teaching them about Blackbeard.
Fantastic intro. And about the death penalty.
Yeah. Especially in an episode where she could have just said, until 1718 when they caught him, and then moved on. But she said, until 1718 when they caught him, and, and Scooter picked up the ball.
Or she could have said pirates are mean and hurt people and didn't have to lead into the part where, but I guess that's like a mild threat where if you're mean and hurt people, you will also be put to death.
Or I guess she could also be, letting them know, hey, Blackbeard's not out there still causing havoc.
Sure.
They got him. Don't worry. Bad guys get caught is what the nanny is trying to teach the kids.
Huh.
Well, anyway, they go bye-bye at the end of that episode as they're looking at the book. They see a boat. Animal pulls out the drain from another book, making the ship sink.
High concept go bye-bye.
Yeah, not as good as the cookie one either.
Mm-mm. I like the ones when it's just animal, really, more than anything.
Yes. Yeah, when they try to involve all the other babies, I feel like the other voice actors couldn't be there for them, and so they don't get to do anything. They're just props. But getting into our last episode, which is Snow White and the Seven Muppets. And although it says on Muppet Wiki, though, the way we're going through these episodes, we're following Muppet Wiki's lead, says this is from October 19th, 1985. It is listed here as the 6th episode of the 2nd season. But apparently, also according to Muppet Wiki, it actually was the 3rd episode to air as part of the 3rd and final aired episode of Muppets, Babies, and Monsters.
Oh, yeah. I feel like I remember seeing the end of this episode cut out of one of the things we watched.
So everything we know is wrong. We are going to continue ahead with the order that is on Muppet Wiki for the episodes, but just know that apparently because of Sam's, mentioned earlier about the syndication thing, these episodes maybe didn't air in this order everywhere, or maybe not even at all, according to this episode. But we're going to go with this order because it's the only one we got.
Yeah, we got to do something.
Yeah. Well, Bunsen and Beaker are here, unfortunately, in this one, even though they kind of don't do much throughout this episode.
They needed more. They needed to make it so there were 7 Muppets, to be the dwarves.
I guess you're right. They do need more dwarves, and they need...
they call them the B team.
Yeah. Well, Bunsen thanks Nanny for taking them to a play, which we find out was Snow White and the 7 Dwarves. So they did get to leave the house.
They got to leave. Yep.
Confirmed, finally, the Muppets have left the house.
We haven't seen them leave the house. So she could have brought them into a different room and showed them
the movie
and said, this was a play. Get back to your room.
And Skeeter and Kermit decide that they should do a play. And why not just do the play that we just saw?
Rip off the play we saw, because we're, that's true for kids. Kids aren't very original thinkers sometimes.
Oh, yeah. I mean, as a kid, there were so many times that me and my friends acted out movies that we liked. Yeah. And it was like, oh, yeah, let's just play the movie. Like, we didn't necessarily add things to the plot. It was just let's recreate the scene.
You and your friends were hacks.
Not an original thought between us.
Yeah, I'm writing reviews of your playtime as a child also.
I'm going to be a critic when I grow up.
Really by the numbers drivel from Matt and his friends again.
His performance as the Green Ranger was really lacking heart.
It was lacking. The costume was great, but...
Well, Piggy and Skeeter start fighting about who's going to be the Snow White and who's going to be the Wicked Queen, and they settle it with a coin toss, which, of course, Beaker's in charge of, so it gets confusing about whether or not he said heads or tails.
Yeah, it gets confusing as to whether or not this is like a joke or what's going on here.
But yeah, it starts off a pretty straightforward imagining of Snow White. Piggy tries to hire an exterminator, which is when it sort of takes a twist, to get rid of her.
There's the huntsman. But...
Well, yeah. But I'm saying making the huntsman an exterminator is a little bit of a twist.
Yeah, and it's Beaker and Bunsen, and they show up to the castle, and Snow White's they're there to kill Snow White. They don't know what that means. And then they see her, and she's like, I'm Snow White. And they're like, okay, guess we're supposed to kill you. And then Beaker's like, maybe we shouldn't. And Bunsen's like, I guess you're right. I just like that Bunsen's still kind of on the edge still. Once he finds out it's a human, he still has to be convinced that they should not kill her.
Well, we've seen what he can do to Beaker, so he has...
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's totally in character that if this was grown-up Bunsen, he'd be like, see you later. Shoot him with a laser or something.
I have a job to do.
Yeah. I got inventions to invent. They ain't paying for themselves.
Well, at this point, the Muppets start to race through scenes in Snow White. Throughout this, they've been setting up scenery with curtains on giant ladders that babies shouldn't have access to. Animal's been building the scenery out of a pop-up book.
I got so bored of the constant scenery talk, where it was just every 4 minutes, it was like, this scenery sucks. Blame Animal. Shut up.
Also,
he's a baby.
Yeah, he's a baby. You put a baby in charge of your scenery, it's going to be upside down sometimes. But
also, some of his stuff looked great. His little crayon drawings and stuff. His horse that he draws at the end.
Oh, the horse is amazing.
Fantastic. I took a screenshot of that horse. I loved him so much.
I want that horse tattooed on my bicep.
Yeah.
But At one point, Animal does rip up the book that he's been using, the pop-up book, as the setting for things. And this is when they're supposed to be out in the forest. And so they need a new tree page. And so he takes his handprints and puts handprints on the page and yells, "Palm!"
And then Fozzie's like, oh, shit. Animal's funnier than me. I'm in really big trouble.
So Snow White travels through the woods and ends up at the Seven Dwarves Beauty Salon.
This was inexplicable.
Very bizarre twist. Did not
Yeah.
have a setup for this. Just comes out of nowhere. Especially because the whole thing is that Piggy has asked the mirror who's the most beautiful, and it's supposed to be Snow White. So why are they sending her to a beauty salon if she's already the most beautiful in the land?
And I think she's like, they're like, oh, we'll put you in a costume or something. And then it's like they're going to give her a makeover to make her look different, but she doesn't look any different.
No.
Very confusing.
But Gonzo has a lovely French accent for some reason.
That makes it all worth it because that's pretty good.
His dwarf name is Nosy. And we have some delightful dwarf names here. We have Nosy, Doggy, who is Rolf, Smarty, Bunsen, Silly, which was Animal? Silly
No,
Silly was
Animal's
Fozzie. Yes.
crazy.
Animal's crazy. And Beaker is something.
He's Mimi.
Yeah, we don't get to hear no one says his dwarf name at any point, so it might just be Mimi.
Was Scooter nerdy? I think he was.
Yes, he
right?
was.
Scooter's probably so mad when Bunsen comes over.
He's like, shit, I was going to be Smarty.
If this had been any other day, I would have gotten to be Smarty. And I have to be nerdy? You don't think this fool's nerdy too?
Yeah, look at him. His glasses are way nerdier than mine.
I can use a computer. Bunsen doesn't seem to be able to use a computer. He just builds stuff out of stuff and hurts us all.
I'm not even sure he deserves Smarty.
No.
He might be crazy.
I did like this episode to a point. I genuinely, even back to the Muppet Show when they did like Alice in Wonderland, don't love an episode that's just them like retelling a classic story.
I feel like you have previously asked for this.
For what?
I think we were talking about Muppet Babies previously, and you said that they should do a whole episode of...
Oh, I wanted them to do a whole episode of something. Oh, Alice in Wonderland. Well, Muppet Babies desperately needs a framework. I just think sometimes that's a little bit boring or a little bit like hack, like I said earlier. It's a little bit hack. Or it's like lazy. It's just like, oh, we didn't have an idea this week, so we'll just do Alice in Wonderland. But I know that's not really what happened. But this one I really did like. I thought it was kind of clever that Piggy was actually acting like the evil queen in real life too. I thought that was a neat conceit where she was actually trying to sabotage Skeeter. It didn't do a ton with it.
Right.
But it was very true to Piggy's character. And was more interesting than it could have been, for sure.
Yeah, like she, it does seem like she wants to murder Skeeter a little bit at one point. Yeah. She tries to sabotage Skeeter's Snow White performance by substituting chocolate sauce for face cream at the beauty salon. But Gonzo ends up just getting it all over himself. So when Piggy, Wicked Queen, finds out Snow White is still alive, she's going to send a package to Snow White. And so she gets there, brings the package to her, and she's disguised as the old lady, like the Wicked Witch does in Snow White. And she goes to get a manicure. And Skeeter pours nail polish all over her hand. Really, I think it's just red paint she spills all over her hand. And she
These
says...
babies have an infinite supply of paint.
Yeah, you can paint your fort. You can paint nails. You got ladders. Natty should put those kids to work. But Skeeter says, oh, sorry, this is my first manicure. And Piggy says, that's okay. You won't be around for your second. And so she gives her the gift box, which is full of pop-out snakes, which scare Skeeter to death. And everyone's real sad. And what do you do when you're real sad? You sing a song about it.
Blues. You sing a song that you say is the blues. That isn't really the blues.
It's called the Snow White Blues, though,
Yeah.
which is a song about Snow White being dead and everyone being really sad, except for Piggy, who just keeps shouting, I don't care.
We'll sing that at your funeral, Matt.
Are you going to be the I don't care?
I'll be the I don't care person, but I'll be crying so hard.
Well, this is when Kermit the Frog rides up on a fantastic animal-drawn horse.
Yep, squiggly, buck teeth. Everybody's like, that horse looks stupid. Fuck you. Animals and artistes.
Yeah, Kermit would have just rode in on an actual horse, like a Photoshop cutout of a horse.
Or he just would have written the word horse, wrote in on that.
Now, I'm not mad at that idea.
Yeah.
Kermit riding in on the word horse, and they're like, Kermit, what's wrong with your horse? He's like, I can't draw horses.
I couldn't remember what one looked like. I do like the like light shitting on Kermit that they do. Like I don't think I still have a solid grasp on Kermit's character in any Muppet thing, but I do kind of like the like. I'm just gonna depend on my more talented friends to get my ideas across.
They lift me up. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
They ask him if he's the prince with the power to kiss princesses awake, and he says, no, but I do know some first aid. And so he walks over to the dead Skeeter and starts a truly wild moment where he's like, your eyes are like two shimmering pearls, your hair like amber waves of grain. And the other kids jump in with, oh, purple mountain majesty, which cleared up something I was very confused about.
Oh, okay.
On Muppet Wiki, when you go to the episode pages, they list out the songs in each episode.
Oh.
And on this episode, it listed Snow White Blues and America, this song. And I was like, okay, that's a weird one to incorporate into an episode about Snow White. And as the episode went on, and we were getting into like the last 8 minutes of an episode, and I was like, we have 2 songs left in this episode, and somehow one of them is America. Is this episode going to end on like a weirdly patriotic note? But no.
Baby Sam Eagle shows up.
Oh, I don't think we see him until new Muppet Babies.
No, you're right.
Where he is adorable.
Yeah.
But this is the only part. It's just included on Muppet Wiki because they sing a little bit of it here.
I thought it was funny. That reminded me of like an Animaniacs. This episode kind of had an Animaniacs feel to it.
That's a very Animaniacs moment.
Animaniacs joke, yeah.
Well, Piggy tries to sabotage the story again, so Kermit won't kiss Skeeter. She inserts the big bad wolf and the giant from Jack and the Beanstalk, both lovingly betrayed by Frank Welker.
Mm-hmm. This was a nice moment too. Just the like, it all just made so much sense. Piggy's motivation made so much sense that there was never the Muppet Babies moment of like, why are they doing this? What's the point of this?
Mm-hmm.
But her not wanting him to kiss anybody else was like, oh yeah, obviously she's Miss Piggy.
Well, Nanny comes in once again to see what all this noise is about, and reveals that she always wanted to play the Wicked Queen in the play.
Interesting.
And suddenly, all the other kids want to play the Wicked Queen because like, Nanny's the coolest person I know. I want to be like Nanny.
Poor Muppet Babies. Yeah, that's true.
But
that was a nice resolution too.
Yeah, and we learned something new about Nanny because she says, I'm going to go get my glasses and I'll be right back to watch your play.
She's an old lady.
Because
only old ladies wear glasses.
Sam, look at me.
You're giving old lady, Matt.
I'll take it. Well, to wrap up this episode, an episode that I overall did like, I think, the best out of the 3.
I think I liked the first one, but then when talking about the third one, I was like, this was actually a pretty okay episode.
Gonzo was such an ass in the first episode that it was kind of off-putting to me. Whereas Piggy is a jerk in this episode, but its character, like it fits her character better.
I think I liked that he was doing a stunt in the first episode is all. Like
that's the Gonzo we know and love.
I'm actively doing a stunt. I think that was, I don't know.
Well, and I feel like if Gonzo on the Muppet Show would have been caught in a similar situation, he would have been more afraid of getting caught.
Yeah.
He would have been scared about getting caught.
He just wouldn't have done that, I don't think.
He doesn't seem conniving.
Yeah.
Well, out of all the things that happen in these 3 episodes, the next thing might be the weirdest. Because Fozzie walks up to the mirror and asks, who's the funniest bear of all? And then we hear the voice of someone doing a Richard Nixon impression say, Fozzie Bear, I never lie. When you tell jokes, I want to cry.
Why?
Who's that for?
The ghost of Richard Nixon lives in their mirror. I don't even think he was dead yet.
No, I don't think he died until the 90s. So it's a living Richard Nixon who hadn't been president for a while.
He's spying on him. He's got their room bugged because they're a government project. He's still looped in.
He's in cahoots with the communist spy. He's trying to track down communist spy Gonzo.
Yeah. Kermit, we got to find this guy.
Who's that weirdo? He's on my list.
Oh, my God. Now-
Nixon versus the Muppets.
Yeah, that would be really good. He's a weirdo.
Frank Langella has passed on, correct?
I believe so.
I think
That's too
somewhat
bad.
recently. No, Frank Langella's alive.
Oh, good. Because we need Sam Eagle and Frank Langella in a scene where Sam's passing the list over. He's like, this is the list I've been working on, Mr. Nixon. Here it is. Here's all the weirdos.
Bring back
All right.
Michael Sheen. Bring back Frank Langella. We got Frost Nixon too. Frost Nixon Muppets.
Just him saying weirdo like that
Weirdo.
and glowering at Gonzo.
When a Muppet does it, it's not illegal. I don't think I realized I had a Nixon in my back pocket until just now.
It's really good.
It's not bad.
It's really good.
I don't know if I've ever tried to do a Nixon until I tried to quote that mirror line. Now you're going to hear it every episode. I'm going to try.
Yeah.
Welcome to commitment.
You and Optimus Prime and Nixon can start having conversations with each other.
Sam's
We
not
get
here
Nick.
this week. It's just
Yeah.
me and my old pal, Richard Nixon and Optimus Prime.
We could get Nick here, and he could do Obi-Wan Kenobi, and we'd really have something going.
My throat would be shot 2 minutes into that episode. If I have to do Optimus Prime for more than 5 seconds at a time.
Oh no, that's why there's only one man who can do it.
Mr. Peter Cullen, thank you for
Yeah.
your service. Well, the go bye-bye in this episode is Gonzo asking the mirror who's the weirdest of them all. An animal comes to the mirror, pulls his nose, and says, go bye-bye.
Sure, not an answer.
Why not? But that's Muppet Babies. That's 3 more episodes of a show that, dear God, do we have a lot more left to watch.
I was looking at the Wikipedia because I was reading reviews of this show, and people fucking loved this show.
That's the thing, Sam. I don't think it's a bad show.
No, especially compared to what else is on. But people are like, this is just as funny as Rocky and Bullwinkle. Not true. Rocky
Not
and Bullwinkle
true.
is hilarious. But all the reviews basically say every Saturday morning cartoon is pure trash, and this one is
Less
is
trashy.
good. It looks cute, and it does. The animation in this show is pretty good. I will hand it that, and that's what a lot of people call out. Just like it looks so good, and really, I do think like this doesn't have the hints and touch, but for what they were putting the hints and touch on, which are Saturday morning cartoons, this does. This is like, it's more thoughtful. I gotta hand it to them. Oh wow, I'm reading about what will eventually cause the downfall of the Muppet Babies. You'll never guess what it is. Garfield and the Ninja Turtles.
They teamed up, beat them up.
But I was reading those reviews, and then I scrolled up and saw 8 seasons, eh? I keep forgetting that. Even though it's really
Yeah.
only 7 seasons, but that's not really that much of that doesn't help too much.
Yeah, Sam, how much does it hurt if I tell you we're about 8% of the way through Muppet Babies?
Oh, a lot. I would at least like it to be double digits.
It's about 8%, I believe, right now.
I'm so morbidly curious. Like, if I watched the last episode of Muppet Babies, would it just feel if I were to watch it and it felt exactly the same as the first episode of Muppet Babies, I'd really go into a tailspin. So I will not do that.
Yeah, I mean, I think they get more wild over time,
Yeah.
but I don't know that they get better. I think they start incorporating more homage and more like references to pop culture. Because I know there is a Nintendo episode at some point. So yeah, hopefully it goes somewhere more interesting and it gets there fast.
It does seem like they start getting different writers eventually. Which,
Oh, okay. I mean, the
'cause
next
it- 'cause-
episode we're going to watch, Sam, has Johnny Carson in it.
Like, okay.
There's a shot,
Like
the
him?
Muppet Wiki screenshot is Miss Piggy on The Tonight Show.
Okay. I mean, I'm still willing to give the show a chance because I have no choice. But that's so many seasons.
Well, and it's so spaced out for us that I feel like every time we're done with a season, we're like, "Hoo boy, let's move on to Fraggle Rock or whatever." And then out of nowhere, here comes a left hook. Surprise, more Muppet Babies.
Mm-hmm.
Like we'll be finishing up Muppet Babies season 2 at the beginning of February. And we don't have to talk about season 3 until May. So we get a couple months off.
Oh, okay.
Well, usually that would mean it would be time for our Muppet of the Week. But we're on hiatus from Muppets of the Week right now because there's no new Muppets to talk about. So, Sam, what non-Muppet thing did you enjoy this week?
I didn't really watch that much stuff, but I did finish Monarch.
Same.
And I think they stuck the landing. I think if you look back on it, there's a lot of wasted time. I'm not crazy about the 3 kids in the present day, but I think it all wrapped up pretty nice.
I guess spoilers for Monarch probably coming up in the next
Yeah.
few minutes here.
Also, does anybody watch this show? That's something that with streaming, it's hard to tell if anybody watches anything.
That's how I feel
but-
about a lot of Apple TV Plus shows. Like
Yeah,
I watch
me too.
I watch For All Mankind every single episode, and I never
Uh-huh.
see a single human talk about that show besides me.
But I wouldn't be surprised if it was like a CSI situation where it's like you never see anybody talk
Yeah.
about that show, but that's the most popular show in the universe.
Well, if it's like For All Mankind has had 4 seasons. Clearly, people are watching it.
Somebody must be, or Apple just has. But that's the confusing thing too, because Apple has infinite money cheat.
But they
so
canceled
might
Central
just-
Park, which is another show I love. So they are willing to cancel shows.
Huh, okay.
But
anyway,
Monarch, first season wrapped up. I will say I liked the kids a lot earlier in the season when they were all getting to know each other. We were getting more adventures with just the 3 of them. I liked them a lot. As soon as they started to become like sort of background characters in this story, I got less interested in them as the show seemed to also get less interested in them. I'm still not sure how Anders Holm turns into John Goodman in a span of like 10 years.
he lost his wife. He had a hard time. He was raising a child alone.
Was he?
Ages, yeah. Yeah, I think he raised her child.
Well, yeah, for a while, but he also ran off at some point.
Oh, sure. He also ran off. So yeah, you're right.
Because we see Anders Holm, the last time we see his character, it is 1962. And in Kong Skull Island, it is 1973. So Anders Holm becomes John Goodman in 11 years. And they're about 25 years apart in age. So that was a rough 11 years on Anders Holm.
Yeah, I was a little disappointed we didn't get another scene with John Goodman. I feel like it would have been nice to do full circle and have. Well, I guess he just died while they were both disappeared.
I
which
was
is
kind of
disappointing,
hoping that the end ends on a huge weird cliffhanger that like seems like they are definitely counting on another season. But I was hoping that the guy was going to get to show his mom the footage of his dad
that would have been nice.
to be like, hey, look, Dad went off and did more stuff. We won't talk about how he was eaten by a weird creature.
Yeah. I think it could be a cliffhanger, but also Apex, that organization, they have like skull crawlers in the Kong versus Godzilla. So it could just like, I feel like it's enough to just say they were on the island. Like if they don't get it a second season, it's kind of like, well, they were on Skull Island. That's how they got the skull crawlers, I guess. But yeah, I think what annoys me the most though is that none of these characters are going to be in they're not in the next movie. I think I've already said this.
Yeah. I'm guessing they're just going to use them as bridges between the MonsterVerse movies because this one brings us up to date with when Kong Skull Island was released in theaters.
Yes, right.
So the next movie is Godzilla King of the Monsters.
And there is some explaining to do of how Monarch got so much crazy high-tech stuff like they have in Godzilla King of the Monsters, which I guess Apex could have made them. And the other thing that I think is really weird, and I know that they probably just couldn't get Ken Watanabe, but I kind of feel like he should have been the scientist that they're tracking down with 2 families.
Yeah.
Especially since he has in Godzilla vs. Kong, his son is like a disaffected, depressed kid who's piloting Mechagodzilla and working for Apex, which exactly is where the kid in this show ends
So
up.
like this kid could have been that kid, essentially.
The same, and that kid comes out of nowhere. So if this show was like, here's why this kid's so sad, then I would have been like, great.
Right.
I wanted to know why that kid was so sad. But I thought it was fun. I did like the last episode quite a bit. And it was cool when Godzilla like comes out of that like Rainbow Bridge to Asgard thing.
Yeah,
and,
you're like,
kicks
oh
that
shit,
flying guy
here he
off.
comes. He's coming.
If you're that flying guy, you got to be like, I just get out of here. This is freaking Godzilla. But nobody ever just gets out of there.
It does, like, it makes me want to go back and watch all the MonsterVerse movies again to see the little references here and there where they have them because obviously, you know, these characters aren't in those movies, but there are direct ties in so many ways, and it makes Monarch more interesting.
Yes,
so when you're
that's
watching those movies, you have a bit more insight into what Monarch was. And
Yeah.
I think you'll obviously care more about Bill Randa when you watch Kong Skull Island. The only thing I watched besides Monarch this week was my first ever Formula E race.
What is this? You're making up news. They're making up new cars, eh?
I mean, yeah, it's an all electric single seater
Ah.
race series. So it's like Formula One, but they're electric cars.
That's cool.
Yeah, and they sound like spaceships.
Oh, do they go fast?
Yep, they go 200 miles an hour, just like Formula One cars. But yeah, I've seen clips and stuff from Formula E races, but never sat down to watch one. And the Formula One season doesn't start till March, but the Formula E season started this weekend. So I was like, why not?
Is there any like appreciable difference between the racing?
It seems more chaotic. Like I don't
Okay.
know necessarily why. Like they just seem to crash more.
Is it like lower skilled drivers?
No,
or
it's a lot of the
something, or
drivers have
no?
previously raced in Formula One, or they're like some of the backup drivers for Formula One race in Formula E. So these guys can do it. I think they talk about the cars being harder to drive in some ways, where they are a bit squirrelier, like they because of the way electric cars like have instant torque and instant braking. That like it's
Yeah.
different than driving other cars, and so.
Wild.
But they they have less of this now, but they have some elements that are kind of like a video game or speed racer.
Okay.
So there's a thing on the track that they can drive through that gives them a boost.
Like F-Zero.
Yeah. But
What the hell?
basically what it does is it gives them like a little extra like battery charge boost thing that lets they get like 8 minutes of it per race. Like every driver can drive through this thing and use it, but it's off. You have to like drive out of the way to get it.
That's F-Zero.
Yeah. But you only get to do it. You can't do it every single lap and get an unlimited boost. You only can use it for 8 minutes total during your race. So you can like choose like, do I want to get it at the beginning and use it all at the beginning, or do I want to wait till the end and try to catch up? And they also used to
the
have a
hell?
thing that they have gotten rid of,
Okay.
where viewers of the race could vote online to give a driver extra boost.
That seems like a stupid idea.
So like you'd
But
have a
also
fan favorite
amazing.
driver who got like an extra 2 minutes of boost because he was everyone's favorite driver that week.
Wow. I mean, you could do like AR, like machine guns on your car or something that make the
Yeah.
other cars.
It
go
does
like,
almost
"Whoa."
feel like, because it sounds like spaceships and because the cars look a little bit more futuristic
right.
than that like it almost should go further in that direction. And I understand that what
Yeah.
they're trying to do is convert the people who like Formula One into watching this and just have it be like it's electric. So it's better for the environment, but it's like you're racing. But I think
Yeah.
you should try to push it into a video game speed racer territory and make it even more wild. I don't know if I'll watch all the races, but they're shorter than Formula One races. So it's only 45 minutes out of my weekend. And they're racing in Portland in June, which is
Are you gonna go?
interesting. I don't know. We're thinking about going to Austin this year
Okay.
for the Formula One race. So
Uh-huh.
I don't know if we need to do 2 race-based trips this year,
Sure.
especially for a thing I just started watching yesterday.
Well, next week I wouldn't be shocked if you were like, "I'm now the biggest fan of Formula E."
Yeah. I'm an E-boy. Here we go. Oh, well, before we go, we want to let you know what we'll be watching next time. And next time, we're taking a little Muppet Babies break as we watch and discuss 2 more episodes of Jim Henson Presents The World of Puppetry.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and this time we'll be discussing episodes 3 and 4, which cover the puppetry of Bruce Schwartz and Sergei Obraztsov.
Oh, and we know both those guys.
Yep, Bruce Schwartz is the ballerina hand puppet guy from the Muppet
Yeah.
Show, and Sergei is the drunk puppet guy from the puppet festival thing we watched forever
Who
ago.
I really, in retrospect, I feel like we busted on him mostly because his puppet looked so scary, but we'll see.
I'm excited for these episodes because I think Bruce Schwartz is a peer of Jim's. Like
Yeah.
they have a friendship, and I think Sergei Obraztsov is like Jim's hero.
A hero of Jim, yeah.
So
for
I'm
sure.
I'm very interested to see Jim's behavior in these
Yeah.
episodes and how he treats them. Notably, I did learn, and I don't think we mentioned it in our episode, Philippe Gentil,
Mhm.
the French guy, was a friend of like Jim and Frank. And Philippe Gentil is actually who Frank based the Marvin Suggs voice on originally.
What?
Yeah. So Marvin Suggs is inspired by Philippe Gentil,
Wow.
the Bart Simpson of France.
He's a nasty little guy running around playing pranks.
So if you want to watch those episodes of Jim Henson Presents, you can do so on shout-tv.com, where you can watch them absolutely for free, just with some ads. But we need to thank our friend Tuna for making the music for this podcast and Cassie Wilson for singing our theme song. Don't forget to go to commitmentstuff.com to check out Commitment merch, or just go to commitment.com to check out everything else. You can email us at mail@commitment.com if you have any questions, especially for our upcoming Q&A episode we want to do. And you can follow this podcast everywhere on social media at Commitment Pod. And you can follow me at Matthew Gatos.
And I'm Sam Schultz.
And as always, keep believing.
Keep pretending.